Good day, YouTube. It is Saturday, May 20th, 2017, and we are working on the old Boyertown Stepvan. Can you see what that used to say? Pierre's French Bakery. That's the last owner that used this van as it was intended. It has been many things for many years. As you can see, many colors over many years. Currently white. Where is it headed for color? I've had so many ideas myself, but I think it's going black. So what are we doing today? Wiring. We're doing wiring today. Won't that be fun? As you can see, I have stripped the dash out, dropped the gauges out, and I have started sorting through the wiring. Most of the power wires, can you see in there? Drop down in here. Leave the starter solenoid into a very loose wiring harness. Jumping around, it comes up, kind of crosses here and pops through there. Was not successful in downloading. This is a 1965 Ford P400 chassis, which I think a P400 is like a 1-ton dually. I don't know why they call them 1 tons. This actually has a 12,000 GBWR sticker on the outside of it, which I suspect this thing weighs 6,000 or 7,000 pounds or so. So it should give it about a 6,000 pound payload. There's the VIN tags on this thing. I don't know what it'll tell you. One of them is the Ford tag, that one, focus. And then that's the body tag. And by the way, we learned out the hard way that when you're licensing these, doing the title stuff, they go by the chassis, not the body. That seems backwards to me, but that's what it is. So anyway, we're going to dive into the wiring. I've already sorted that the park lights, turn signals, tail lights, that kind of stuff, that wiring to the front and rear of the vehicle is intact and is in good condition. So we're going to run with that. I don't need to replace everything. I just need to find out what's doing what. I have already started pulling out what is unnecessary. Things that were installed later in its life that don't know what they do, and I don't care, I'm removing it. And then some of the body type stuff, like the had some courtesy lights in the inside the truck here. And I'm going to do my own thing, so I've got a couple of fuse boxes as well. One of which I'll connect to the ignition switch, and one of which will be direct. I haven't figured out exactly where to mount them yet. I don't really feel like I need to hide everything. I might just purposely expose them. What the heck? This is a utility vehicle. It's going to be a DJ rig. There's going to be a lot of other stuff exposed. Why not expose the fuse boxes? Because right now, I've got to show you this. I don't know whose Einstein idea that was. But look at those 2 fuse boxes way back there on the firewall. They're a son of a gun to get to. Why would you bury a fuse box that hard? This thing isn't that fun to work on. So anyway, here we go. Over there where you can see the vent, that's where that heater box goes. I've got another video where I took that old rusted out heater box and refabbed it, rebuilt it. It's going to work fine. It is also the defroster and so forth. I'm not going to put that thing in until I get the wiring done. This stuff's hard enough to get to as it is. And that dash is built on a bracket that's got all the handbrake stuff attached to it. And right now this thing doesn't have any foot brake. All it has is handbrake. So I elected to fight my way through the wiring, through the holes in the dash, and what I can reach underneath is kind of a back-breaking situation. But I think we'll get through it. So my goal for the weekend is to get through this wiring, get everything sorted. Maybe at the end of the day today I'll sand down that dash and get some paint on it so that maybe tomorrow I can put it back together. Maybe that's ambitious. It's really not that much work. It's just a son of a gun to get to. There'll be a point or two where my back is going to tell me that that's enough for the day. And there's a car show happening today. I might wander out and talk to some of my buddies out there. I'm not DJing at an event this time. It gives me time to work on my stuff. I also have been saying all along that because when I bought this vehicle, they called it a 1962, and this has a Ford 306 in it, and the Ford 240 and the Ford 300 are basically the same engine with different stroke. They came out in 1965, so I was pretty sure that this had a transplant, i.e. this would have been, in 1962, would have been a 223 inline six, and I thought it was transplanted to a 300. But again, through this title process, we realized this is actually a 65. The bodies didn't change, so you couldn't tell one from another. But the 300 was actually available in 65, and there's a chance this is the original engine. This engine got converted to propane at some time. As you can see, the propane carburetor and stuff set up on it, which takes an engine that would already run 300,000 or 400,000 miles and would double that. The oil in this thing looks brand new. However, when I was underneath it putting the starter on, I noticed the oil filter is about to rust out. So this thing hasn't had an oil change in 25 years probably. So anyway, I will endeavor to clean that motor up, and I just kind of paint it, and we'll get it serviced, and I'll probably update it to Pertronics, electronic ignition, belts and hoses, that kind of thing, after I get the wiring done. And I'm going to take this into a local shop and have them deal with the brakes and the front end. This thing is very tough to steer. You can see the steering box down there in front. And let the experts do that. Yes, I could do it. I just, it will take me so long to get to it with so many other things. Summertime is my busy time of year, and I really enjoy my weekends when I can work on stuff, but I have so much stuff that I would like to get done. So I'm going to farm out the brakes on this thing. So that being said, let's get into the wiring, and I will give you an update at the end of the weekend on how far I got, post it on another video, and we'll see how much of this I can get done. The goal is to get everything, all the gauges to work, and ignition, turn signals, headlights, brake lights, that kind of thing. And then we'll move on to accessories like I hung a tack on the steering column, and then get the other fuse box in for some of my 12-volt accessories to light the interior and stuff like that. Once I get that basic stuff done, it will be really nice. I can focus on the rest, start a drawing and so forth. I will show you one other thing. Over here by the driver's side door, this does not have a driver's door. It is a window. It would have been kind of cool if it had one. And it has that well down there. You can see it's all rusted out. And it's rusted out on the outside. I'm going to cut all that out from the outside, box all that in, and use that space for my auxiliary batteries. So house batteries, if you will. And then up above the window, in that location right there, I'm going to put the panel. There'll be a 120 volt panel in here that will be powered up by a variety of things. One outside shore power connection, which I'll use a marine 30 amp power inlet for that. It's the same as I have on many of my other trailers and the Scooby-Doo van. I will be able to power it via that 4,000 watt Honda generator that I've installed in the van, or inverter, which will then draw power from the batteries, turn it into 120 volt. And to switch those one to the other, I think I will simply use cord caps. Basically, unplug a cord and plug another cord in. So, for example, the outside shore power cord will have a female up here, which will allow me to plug into a power inlet that's connected to the panel. The generator will have a cord cap female that will also plug into a power inlet, again one at a time, so that at no time will these ever be connected together, as well as the inverter, etc. So I think that's the most efficient way to do it. I just mark the cord caps what is what, and then I'll know what I have plugged in, and I'll just try and make it look as good as I can. But that's the area that I'm going to put the inverter and the power circuit breaker box and possibly charge controller stuff, because I anticipate putting 1 or 2 solar panels on this thing as well. So that's going to be the power center. And right here behind the driver's seat, sitting on the floor, will be a 19-inch rack that'll go floor to ceiling. It'll be bolted in place. Right behind the driver's seat will offer me some protection, so if I run into something, things don't run into my head. So the rack will be there with a lot of amplifiers and things bolted in, but will be securely mounted to the floor and mounted to the ceiling. Then something doesn't hit me in the head if I hit something from the rear. Okay, I have rambled long enough. Well, let's get started on this wiring, and wish me luck. Let's get her done. Catch you later.